Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Intentional Productivity Tips. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner, and I want to thank you for spending time with me today to think about your productivity and being intentional with how you can work smarter, not harder, so that you can enjoy the life that you've worked so hard to create. You are watching me on USA Global TV, Radio, and Network. You are watching me on our YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, be notified when new episodes drop. Love to have your support, followers, even represent comments if you have any questions. So today, our productivity tip that we're going to talk about is another one that is important, that is timely, that is seasonal, and it's something that falls in productivity in the category of planning. I am talking about the fact that it is the end of May. That means that we are heading towards summer. That means that 'tis the season for us to start thinking about transitioning to our no-go bag preparation. 'Tis the season for us right now to be intentional and say, okay, we are entering a new season. We are leaving winter. We are entering summer. We know with winter and summer, there can be different situations, experiences, or things that happen in life. So we want to think about it is summer. We might need to have go bags prepared. We want to look at our situation. We want to think about what will help us to be most prepared no matter what happens. So today's episode, we are going to talk about two things. We are going to talk about preparing to stay calm and ready for an emergency. And we're going to talk about your go plan. Again, it is May. That means it is our May series, which is productivity your way with simple mindset strategies. At first, I wasn't sure if the go no bag fit into May's theme of simple mindset strategies for productivity. But then last week, the week before last, the last 2 weeks, one of the things I've been thinking about as it's transitioning from winter, it's getting hot, it's getting hotter. Again, I currently am in Kelseyville, California. It's a remote area in Northern California. I am on the side of a mountain in a forest. So as you can see behind me, there are a lot of trees. And again, I am in a remote area. That means that where I am in Kelseyville right now, everyone is planning, unfortunately, for wildfire season. The planning isn't the unfortunate part. The unfortunate part is wildfire season. So as I have been watching neighbors, the community, the area prepare, it has made me start to realize, what do I need to do to prepare? So 'tis the season to prepare for our go bag. When we think about it, there are times when we hear the word go bag, and I don't know about you, but to me, thinking of a go bag is a relatively new term. When I was growing up, it wasn't something necessarily that I was thinking about. In preparation for today's presentation and talking about our go bags, I was thinking about my own journey of preparedness with the go bag. Now, the first time that I experienced a go bag and go bag situations was in the mid-2000s. I lived in Santa Barbara, and there was a couple of years where there were several fires very close to the area, and so the town would get evacuated. There was a fire, unfortunately, in May of, I think, '08 or '09, and it was called the Jesusita fire, the Little Jesus fire, and I was evacuated from my apartment complex. I, at the time, was on crutches, had a bad ankle, had just had ankle surgery, and they were going to all the complexes and saying who is either elderly or infirm that needs to get out early, and I was on that list. And so at that point in the mid-2000s, when it came to preparation, my go bag was, I called my friends in Goleta because it was enough space apart, and I packed my car with all my emergency things I needed. My photo albums. Again, it was the mid-2000s, so we weren't completely electronic yet. But that very first experience I had with the go and experience with evacuation, I packed my photo albums. I packed some pictures from my walls. I packed my computer, again, long time ago. The next morning when I woke up at my friend's house, I realized I didn't pack a toothbrush or I didn't pack a robe or anything like that. But that was a different situation. At that point, I was able to go to my house and get what I needed, right? So that's my first experience with the go bag or having to evacuate. Then I lived in North San Diego County for about 15 years. And when I lived in North San Diego County, I didn't have as much of experience. So when no go bags and go bags came into my life was in the winter of February 2024. As you can see here, I've got a journey and picture of some of my preparedness. So for example, for me, in February of 2024 was the next time after my Santa Barbara day that I had to experience a go bag or a situation where I was in a weather situation where I was snowed in, I was stuck, and I was without electricity for 8 days. So for me, moving to a rural area changed my view, right? When I lived in February 2023, when I was in Oceanside, lived in Carlsbad, I would go to the beach in February. I was thinking of beach things, right? The emergency I had potential for in San Diego at the time was maybe my electricity going out. So in February 2023, that's where I was. By February of 2024, I had learned quite a big difference, right? And so what I started to realize is it's important to be intentional with our go plans. It is important to be intentional with our emergency preparedness. So today we are going to talk about transitioning to go bag preparation. So as we were just looking at pictures, we just are leaving the winter season. And for the winter season, that's when we call the no-go bags, right? Because we're being prepared to stay in. So I've got some steps that we're going to look at right now for transitioning into the summer and transitioning for go bag preparation. So the first thing we're going to look at are what are go and no-go bags. Then we're going to look at problem solving your location. I've been talking about my experiences because that's what I've been living. And I'm talking about where I'm at right now. We want to look about what you might need to think about. We want to again think about seasonal transition time right now. This is where I am, putting away the no-go bins, right? Then we want to start reviewing our go bag checklist. We want to prepare our go bag options. And we want to look at our go bag options based on warning time. Then we want to think about what do we need to be ready to leave. We want to look at our preparedness checklists, and then we want to be prepared. So those are the steps that we're going to talk about, because when you think about it again, the whole goal of what we're talking about is saying it's a new season. We know we need to be prepared for the unexpected. Preparing for the unexpected, I get that doesn't make sense, but we want to prepare for what could happen. And we know based on where we live, things can happen. So let's get started by looking at what are your go and your no-go bags. So a definition, a go bag is for quick evacuations during emergencies. For example, wildfires. So that's why for me, we're going into my go bag season. A no-go bag is for staying put during severe weather or road blockages, right? We know for both seasons, we want to think about potential loss of electricity. The purpose of a go bag is to support leaving safely and quickly, right? The goal of a go bag is you need to go. So what can you get? What do you need? And how can you safely have a bag that will get you out? A no-go bag ensures that you can stay in. So for me, I actually don't have bags anymore. I have bins. I have a no-go bin. The goal is to solve potential problems by preparing resources that are tailored to your living experience. So that's why, again, thinking a little bit of, is it a bag? Is it a bin? What are the emergency situations? And what do you need to be prepared for potential situations or emergencies that could come up? So let's look at that. We want to solve for your location. So we want to think about it. What are the potential risks, right? It could be a fire zone. It could be a flood zone. It could be remote living conditions. It could be snow and winter conditions. Could be electricity outages. It could be road closures. We know that there are many potential risks that we could experience. So what you need to do is, again, look at, based on your living situation, what are your potential risks? For me, fire zone, remote area, right? So that's where I'm creating my plan. So that's where you want to answer for yourself. Questions you want to ask yourself when you're thinking about problem solving with a potential need to go. How long might I need to stay or prepare to leave? Like, how long might I need to be gone? Do I know the routes to safety, even if I need to on foot? What specific resources do I need? Is it food, water, towels, power? What are the resources? So the first thing we want to do is we want to assess the risks, and we want to ask ourselves questions to be able to identify and say, okay, this is what we need. These are the risks, and here's how we can prepare, right? Why is this connected with productivity? Because when you think about it, being prepared in the most emergency situation, you're going to get more done if you're prepared, and that's going to help your productivity. So that's why we're talking about it today. So the next thing you want to do is you want to be ready to leave. So one of the things I learned, and it's kind of interesting. So I'm currently on my second cycle living in this area. Last winter, last summer were the first experiences with those. So it was the first time I went through it. So now we're on my second season. This is my second cycle, if you will. So now I'm starting to realize, and I have a little bit different information. And so some of the things that I've been thinking about, if I have to leave, do I have an evacuation packing strategy, right? Do I have a strategy of, oh, I just got the notification on my phone. By the way, Watch Duty app, if you don't have it, get it. It's an amazing app. But I would say evacuation packing. If you get a notification, a call, or any alert or sense that you need to go, you want to start by thinking, what am I going to do first? One thing I do, and this might be extra, it worked for me. I mentally walk through each room and I think, if I needed to evacuate, what would I grab out of this room? And I have a plan and I actually walk through it. Last summer, we had some times when we were in heightened fire warning elevations. I would think through this plan each day. I'm not going to lie. I would be prepared with what it is I would need to grab. Again, it's just, if you prepare for it in the moment, you're going to be able to execute. And that's what we're wanting to do. Hate to think about it, but this is one of those get real topics that we must explore. Keeping bags accessible and ready by the door. That is one thing as I've transitioned from my no-go bin to my go bag, I had to change and get my duffel bag out, and they're near a door so that if I have to go, I can grab them. And then prioritize based on need. You're going to want to identify how much time do you have to leave and what is it that you need, and prioritize. Thinking through these things beforehand will help you when you're in the emergency. So this is why we say to be intentional. And one tip is to be ready to leave. So let's talk a little bit about go bag preparation in morning time. I talked about that just a few minutes ago. One of the things that's essential and that is very, very important is for you to be obviously to be intentional and strategic with thinking, and again, to be honest based on your living situation. So as you can see, again, I live on the side of a mountain. I live in a forest. There are a lot of trees. So there is a risk of wildfire, unfortunately. So I have had to identify, if that happens, what might my warning times be? So when I create my exit strategy, based on warning time. And I have 4. A 15-minute bag, which means I have immediate evacuation. I most likely am only going to have one chance to get everything I need to the car. So my critical items are there: important documents, medication, electronic gadgets, chargers. The most important things. One thing I can pick up and grab and go, right? That's the critical. Then I go to a 30 to 45 minute bag. Maybe I have a little bit more time. So I'm going to maybe be able to take 3 or 4 trips. I'm going to take additional trips to the car. So then I can take more time sensitive things. I might add toiletries. I might add clothing. I might add personal comfort items, a blanket. I might add small valuables, right? Then again, thanks to different apps such as Watch Duty, and there's others, we know that we can be warned if fires are coming towards us. And so we can start thinking about, okay, at what point, if a fire is 1 evacuation zone, 2 evacuation zones, what is it that I need to plan for? How am I prepared with my warning time, right? For me, I've created a 2 evacuation zone plan, right? So if fires are 2 evacuations around, oh, that is weird. Hello. If fires are 2 evacuation zones away, I'm going to start packing my car. I'm going to start loading. It's not immediate, but I'm going to start loading. I'm going to also include water. Here's again where I'm going to have more time so I can add more food, more water, more blankets, more memories, photo albums. Lesson to 2000s, Megan, pack the photo albums last. But we live and we learn lessons, right? That's why we're here today, to be intentional. And then the last thing that I have when preparation, warning times, and bags, I actually have a car bag. And this is something I learned about last summer because, again, being in the middle of nowhere, I know that what I am wearing might not always be reliable. And so I don't want to have to change my clothes before I'm going. So I actually have a go bag in my car, and it has a ready to go outfit. It has a couple toiletries. It has a brush. It has a toothpaste and toothbrush, a few personal items, has handy wipes, has pajamas. It's a small bag, but it has just a few things. You do need to remember to transition from one from one season to another. I just took out my winter sweats and put in some leggings and some shorts for the summer. So again, things to think about. The reason I'm walking through this with you, I'm giving you very specific examples for myself. You might not need these, but if you hear what I'm thinking, my hope is that you realize, you know what? That's a good idea. Oh, a cargo bag might be a good idea. Just think about what can you do and how can you be prepared as possible. We know accidents, emergencies happen, and we can't control them. But if we can be prepared, that's going to help us in the moment. And that's really the goal. The next thing, again, where I've been talking about right now, it's that transition time. 'Tis the season. It's time to put away the no-go bins. And so what you want to do with that, you want to remove your seasonal items. So for me, I packed away my scarves and my hats and my gloves, anything to keep me warm in case I lost electricity. I absolutely wanted to take that away because in the middle of the summer when it's hot and there's no electricity, I don't want anything on, right? Because it's hot. So we want to start thinking about what do we need for this season? What are some of those, check and restock essentials, check batteries, check essentials, check that things are charged, check that things work. I just found that one of my headlamps isn't working. And so I was able to replace it so that I can have 2. You want to evaluate expiring items. You want to look for new update for the new season and ensure accessibility. It's important to reorganize and make sure everything is easy to grab in case of an emergency. The whole goal is to look at your no-go bin and say, I know the goal of that was to keep me here and to keep me warm potentially. But for me, my go bin is to get me out of here and to not keep me warm because it's going to be hot enough. So I want to start thinking about what are those things that I want to have in my go bag, right? Again, chargers. Do I have a power bank, right? We want to start thinking about what it is we want to put in those bands. So we want to transition it from I'm staying to I might need to go. And so we want to think about that transition. It's important for you to have a personalized preparation checklist. Here you will see I have 2 examples. I have a go checklist and a no-go checklist. Again, when you're going, you want to be sure, do you have your documents? Do you have copies do you know where your driver's license is? Do you know where your important passport, any important documents? If you don't have them scanned, even if you do, some of them, if it's an ID document, make sure you know where it is. Make sure you have emergency contacts. I also would recommend when it comes time for a go bag, you want to have things in paper also. So you might want to have just a few phone numbers written down because we don't remember them anymore. Then you want to have essential water, food bars, food that you might need. Again, electronics, your chargers, your power banks, and then any personal items, clothing, toiletries, or blankets. For your no-go checklist, it's more like enough food and water to stay in, power generator, batteries, flashlights, headlamps, warm blankets, again, things that you might want to need. So it's important for you to identify what you need in each session in each season for your preparedness checklist. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to change. I'm going to move very quickly. I'm going to share. And I found it very helpful. Again, 2 weeks ago, I was in a situation where it was time to realize I needed to change for my go bag. And at the time, it had been since last summer. And so it was important for me to begin to think, okay, what is it that I need? So what I did, and I'm going to share mine with you right now, I opened up a spreadsheet that I have for my go and no go checklist. So I wanted to share it with you just a minute to show you things that I have in my spreadsheet, because I want you to create one yourself. You do not have to go as extra as I do. When you're looking at this, two things. One, I created this after 8 days with no electricity and no power. First time I experienced that, right afterwards, I created a list of the things I needed, and I have updated it since. So what I recommend to you is start where you're at and start improving. And remember, after last summer, I would tell you, oh, I will remember this. I will have everything. Next year, it's going to be an easy transition. 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, what is some of that? So it's important to remember it. So that's why we want to take a look at it. So here's my my no-go checklist. I have sections. Here's the sections I have. I have vital information. And again, this is where you want local resources. I have learned there's a few businesses in Cobb and Kelseyville area that stay open in emergencies if you need to go. Paper maps, write down your master password. My recommendation, write down your master password so that if you need to access it. Then think about actions that you want to take, right? What are the actions you're going to need to take to prepare? Whether it's a fire loss, right? Whether it's debris removal, making sure you have gas for a generator, making sure that you have a plan, making sure. One thing that I will tell you that's important, hard content. The first time I was without electricity for so long, I had to find a book. I had always been reading things on my Kindle or my iPad recently. So you want to think about some of those actions to take. And then I've got a go bag checklist for you. And I've got my go bag checklist. And again, this includes evacuation planning, the bag types. So for me, I look at it as what can I carry out easier? So I have a duffel bag and a backpack. And then I also have my items, again, my paper content. And then I have based on 15-minute go bag and going down. One thing I also want to talk about, it's important to have provisions for work. It's important that you start thinking about how it is that you're going to prepare for potentially not being at work. So all of these things are to think about. Again, I know my goal is not to overwhelm you with information. My goal for this conversation and for this presentation is for us to have to start thinking and to open your minds to say, what season am I in? Where am I living? And what is it that I need to do to prepare for it? Remember the situation, no matter the situation. Oh, that should matter. No matter the situation, always remember, be proactive. Identify challenges specific to your environment. Think critically. Walk through potential scenarios and prepare accordingly. For any of you who are in risk management or project management, this is your jam, I promise you. My little project management and risk management mind lights up when it comes to being prepared for this. Not everyone has to do that. Find what works for you and do it. Stay balanced. Preparedness is about being ready, but not living in fear. One of the reasons I get so ready is so then I can let it go and be ready and live my life and know I'm prepared if anything happens. And then the absolute most important thing, trust your guts. Trust your gut. You've developed your instincts throughout your life. It is time to believe in them. When it comes to emergency preparedness, when it comes to an idea or a potential situation where you have a go bag or you need to evacuate or leave quickly, the most important thing you need to do after you've prepared, set that down and then remember that you have developed instincts and you have prepared your instincts. And so when it's time, you're going to trust your instincts. That's one of the most important things that you can do. And that's something that I want to make sure that you trust and believe in. So what is your go plan. As we've talked about this, as we've thought about this, my goal for you is to start to identify and start to think of what is your go plan. When you're ready to think about the path of transitioning to a go bag, I want you to think about what would your go bag look like? What is the situation you have that you need? Some people and some clients that I've talked to, their biggest potential risk is electricity outage. So they make sure that they have chargers and adapters and candles and maybe generators. That's great. They're ready for it. If that's not your issue, that's great too. It's important for you to, again, problem solve for your location. It's important for you to be able to say, okay, I'm going to switch from the no-go bin, and now it's important to review and start your go bag checklist. It's important to be prepared for your go bag options and to think about and have a plan to be ready to leave. I want you to take time and think of what your preparedness checklist would look like and how you can improve going forward. Again, it is essential to be intentional and to take some time and think about it. Taking time to think about it now is going to help in the future. As every week, my goal for you is that you're able to take away at least one thing today. And as I've been talking about go bins or go bags and being prepared and transitioning to that season, my hope and my desire is that you're able to take this, you're able to look at your situation, and you're able to be prepared if need be. Our hope and desire is that there isn't a need be, and we're going through this and we don't need it. We also know it's 2025, so we never know. So let's be prepared. I want to thank you for joining me today on Intentional Productivity Tips. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner. I will be back next Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, as I am every Thursday, where we are going to be intentional with your productivity tips and take time to think about how you can be more productive. I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. I want you to take some time as we're going into the weekend, because it's Thursday or whenever you're watching this. I want you to take some time and think, what can I do for me to take care of myself and reward myself because of how hard you've worked? It's so very important to be able to do that. I want to thank you for being with me today. I want to thank you again, as always, and say, I will see you next Thursday. Thank you for taking time to think about 'tis the season to be prepared with your no-go bag, with your go bag. So thank you for doing that. Here's a word from our sponsor.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.